Hey guys, welcome back to our podcast. Today, Rickie will be discussing the psychology and philosophy, like her views on the whole idea.
Hi, guys. Um, Welcome back to this episode, kind of in part one, where Dan was talking about his views on the philosophy and psychology of dance. He mentioned a prompt, which was basically if somebody came from the future and told you with 100% certainty that you are not going to achieve what you're striving for at that very moment, what would you do? Would you keep doing what you're doing? Would you change what you're doing? So I definitely urge you to go and listen to his episode to see his answer on that and his view on that. And today, instead of answering that question, I want to take the complete opposite view, which is, in my opinion, we've all heard this many, many times that everything happens for a reason. It's a very, very wide spectrum and can be interpreted in many, many ways. Um, Talking specifically about the psychology and philosophy of dance is such a huge topic. So instead of trying to talk about everything in one episode, I'm going to narrow down on this specific idea. So instead of somebody coming to the future and saying, you know what, you're not going to achieve that, taking it in the other direction of that, whatever does happen, whether you achieve something or not that you're striving for, it happens for a reason. And I'm not going to be one of those people that just say, just let life happen and just whatever happens, just be happy with it. Because I definitely think that we have the control to change our lives, whether that's for the better or for the worst. And I think it's not a very good mentality just to let life happen to you. And if we're talking specifically in dance, you shouldn't just let competition results happen to you. You shouldn't just let that defeat or that win just completely change your views on something. I definitely think that you should be as in control as possible of yourself and what you can actively do in the physical world. So you can choose to go to practice. You can choose to do your mental practices. You can choose whether to warm up properly or not. You can choose what exercises you're working on that day. You can choose whether to argue with your partner or not. All of that is on you. And of course, whatever outcome happens from what you choose to do every single day is going to define your tomorrow. Um, and when we're talking about dancing specifically, I think a huge idea is competitions and it is placement because I don't know one person in this competitive dance world that doesn't have a goal of where they want to be. I want to be national champion. I want to be Blackpool champion. I want to be world 10 dance champion. Whatever your goal is, I'm sure that you have one. And if you don't have one currently, I'm sure you've had one in the past, or maybe even several different ones. Now, when I'm talking about how everything happens for a reason, having goals is a very, very good thing. It's very, very important. But I also am a very strong believer that you cannot force success. You cannot force success in your results. You cannot force success in your dancing. You cannot force yourself to become national champion if that's your goal, whatever it may be. Having that goal is step one. Working towards that goal every single day is step two. Making the decisions that are going to define you positively tomorrow is your job each and every single day. Again, this is just what I believe. I'm not going to be over here like preaching, like you have to listen to me, but I am sharing my views and I'm 100% confident in what I have to say that I truly think it has helped me and it can help lots of other people. Um, Making those positive choices that are going to define your tomorrow is your everyday thing that you have to do. When it comes to success in results, the more you try to force it, the farther away you will get from where you want to be. And this is a very, very hard pill to swallow because if we just think that I'm going to be national champion every single day and that's the only thing you look at, it's very, very easy that if it comes to the competition, you're putting more and more pressure on yourself. Each and every day, you're getting closer to the competition. We are human. We don't know what the future holds, because if we did, our lives would look completely different. And because we don't know what the future holds, the closer and closer you get to that competition, you're putting more pressure on yourself because the outcome becomes more unknown to you. Because you don't know if you're going to win that competition. You don't know who's going to show up. You don't know if the judges are going to look at you when you want them to look at you and mark them the way that you want them to mark you. And because of those fears, it comes creeping into us as we get closer to the competition, and it shuts us down. We put on that fake front that we know we're going to win, we're going to be national champions. I've worked super, super hard for this. But in the back of your mind, that fear is still there because of the expectations and pressure you've put on yourself. Now, I think many people can relate to this. I have done this and put that pressure on myself literally so many times. And it's taken me such a long time to realize that you don't have to do that. You don't have to put pressure on yourself to win, to be successful. And this has proven true time and time again in my dancing, not only in my dance life, but also in my outside life. Just a few examples happening throughout my entire life of not forcing success. I think I mentioned this in a previous podcast, but when my partner and I were 7 years old, we decided to go to the nationals. Very, very first nationals. We had never been probably even like out of Washington or even the West Coast, let alone go all the way across the country and drag our families there to compete against couples from around the country. We had never heard or seen of these couples. We just decided to do it because we wanted to. We wanted to push ourselves. We wanted to not have any expectations and literally just dance our very, very best because we had been preparing. We knew we were going to the competition. We were preparing well every single day and not putting that pressure that we had to win, that we had to be successful, we had to make the final. We go to the competition and we're first in every event. When I was 16, or 15. No, when I was 15, I just turned 15. My partner and I went to the WDCAL World Championships in Paris for the first time. Now, at this point, we had been to many international competitions. We had been traveling a lot. We had much more experience competing against other couples, but this was our very first time to this competition. We didn't have any expectation. We prepared our best. Our coaches prepared us. Our parents prepared us. We prepared ourselves. We were happy to be there. We were happy to be in that situation and be able to compete against the best dancers in our age category in the world. And out of every single couple in the entire world that went to the competition, we won on our first time there, which was like probably the biggest success we had ever had in our career, out of nowhere, because we were not forcing it. We didn't go to that competition saying we have to make the final, we have to be the number one placing US couple, we have to beat this couple or that couple. We we didn't waste our energy thinking about that, projecting that pressure on ourselves. When I was 16, I had a new partner. We went to adult Blackpool for the first time. I had no expectations whatsoever. I was very happy to be there. I was really, really scared actually, but on the inside, there was so much joy just to be able to be at that competition. So much joy because I was pushing myself into a category I had never danced in before, and against couples I had never seen, and against couples that, in my opinion, were light years ahead of me, but I was one of them. I didn't concern myself with making the 48, with making the 24, with making the semi, with being the best US couple, with dancing the best that I'd ever danced in my life. I wasn't thinking about any of that. I was there to enjoy my dancing. And for months, for 3-4 months that we were dancing together before we went to that competition, practicing every day, we were concerned with our own dancing, with our own partnership, with improving our dancing, not concerned about anybody else's. We went to that competition and we made the final in adult Blackpool. The very first time. This was like probably our third or fourth competition together. Brand new. And that is a major, major success in my life that came to me because everything happens for a reason. There are times in my life where I put pressure on myself after I have success that I need to repeat it, that I need to make it to that standard again, that I've beat these couples before, so I have to beat them again. The more energy I spend on that, the farther away I get from it. I go to the same competition and those couples are beating me. I go to another competition and I'm in the 24 instead of the final because I'm concerned with my results. I'm trying to force success that I've already had instead of just letting what is meant to be, waiting for it to come to me. And I think the best formula for this is persistence and patience. Having the persistence to keep grinding every single day is not easy by any means, but it is the first step to that success. That if it is meant to be yours, it will come to you. And the second part is patience. It's the hardest thing to have in the world is patience. But at the same time, once you make that realization that the more patient you are, the faster the things that you want to happen will come your way. When I was patient for my results, saying, this is my first Blackpool, I'm I'm here to dance. I'm here to be happy. I worked really hard and I'm going to let whatever happens happens. The best things in my life happened to me in those moments because I was persistent and because I was patient. And it shows up again and again and again. And I think that is huge for me. And I think it can be huge for other dancers to take the pressure off of ourselves to repeat our results or to reach a certain result, because ultimately we are not in control of that. We are in control of ourselves and our mentality. And I think the more patient and persistent we are, the faster we will have everything that we want, all of our goals, we will achieve them much, much quicker than we could ever imagine. And that is my little kind of snippet on psychology and philosophy of dance that I really, really hope that whoever is listening to this maybe can help them just a little bit.
Thank you for sharing, Ricky. And guys, if you have any comments on Ricky's view on the psychology and philosophy, definitely comment it on YouTube and send us a DM, and we'll respond to it if you have any
We
questions.
promise we'll respond
We
to.
will promise. Definitely. Thank you for listening. See you guys next time.
Bye, guys.